Hey guys, welcome to subtracting. We're going to be subtracting polynomials today. If you're subtracting polynomials, you definitely need to know how to add polynomials. So if you haven't done that already, you should definitely go click that video that's popping up in the top right-hand corner and go watch the adding polynomials video. You need adding polynomials. You can't subtract without adding. But if you've already done it, congratulations. We're going to go and get started. You have two steps when you're subtracting polynomials, and we're going to take it step by step. Your first step that we're going to be using with this example today is to distribute the negative by changing all the signs in the second set of parentheses. What you want to do is go ahead and cross out second and put a second over it. You'll see this all the time in your actual test. They spell out numbers, cross out the numbers, and write it as an actual number. That's a real quick trick that they use to mess with your head a little bit. Don't let them get to you. All right. Now, what we're going to do is go ahead and distribute the negative. And when you are distributing the negative, you're actually taking this negative 1 right here. There's an imaginary 1 right there. And you're multiplying it by the 4. And you're going to get a negative 4x. And then you're going to get a negative times a negative 5, which gets you a positive 5, and so forth. What you end up doing is you just flip the signs. So your positive becomes a negative, your negative a positive a negative. Once you've gone ahead and distributed the negative in this entire second polynomial, close the parentheses and put a plus sign right around it. You're converting it into adding. If you haven't done adding it, go back and watch adding. But if you have, great. We're going to go ahead and copy this one down. But when we do that, you'll notice that this is not in standard form, and it has to be in standard form. If you don't remember, standard form is from greatest to least in terms of your degree. So the highest degree that I see here is a 2, and that's exponent of 2, not your coefficients. So I'm going to go ahead and move the 2x squared first, negative 2x plus 3. Once I've gone ahead and done that, I am just lining it right up under my like terms as we did in our second method of adding. First term I see is negative 4x, and I'm going to strike it, again, semi-markup / line up, and strike it and put it right under negative 2x. Next is positive 5, which is a constant. We're going to put it under our 3. What we're doing here is we're combining like terms, which is our second step. Combining like terms is just adding, guys. That's all we're going to be doing here. You add the 5 under the 3. Then you put your negative 3x squared right under. And guess what? You have them all lined up, so you can just combine them all the way down. You've got our positive 3 and positive 5, which gives you a positive 8. You've got our negative 2 minus 4, which will be a negative 6. Again, you're keeping your same variable and the exponent. Do not change your variable and your exponent when you're adding or subtracting. You only do that when you're multiplying. But wait, we'll get there soon. After this, you're going to do 2 minus 3, which gets you a negative 1x squared. You want to remember that you are not going to see a 1 right before it. If it helps you, write that 1 in right here. However, you will not see it written as negative 1x squared. It is up to you to know that it's negative 1x squared minus 6x plus 8. And that's your final answer. That's all there is to subtracting. If you're strong in your adding, you will be good. Let's go ahead and try a second example. And this one's just a little bit different, and it goes back to spacing. You'll notice at the top we have the same instructions, same set of rules. We're going to go ahead and use this example too. 8y minus 10 plus 5y squared minus 7 minus y cubed plus 12y. We're going to flip the signs of our entire second polynomial, put a plus sign in parentheses around it so that we can convert it into adding. And we're going to go ahead and make our first polynomial and put it into standard form. I've kind of put in both of those steps together from that last example. Now that we've got that first polynomial in standard form, we can go ahead and start lining up and putting our second polynomial in standard form, greatest to least, in terms of our degree. First thing we have here is actually a constant, so we're going to drop it right under the negative 10. The next one we see is actually a degree of 3. Our highest degree in our first polynomial was a 2. So when you end up writing it, you're going to kind of leave a gap over here, not put anything there, and put the y cubed right before it, just like you would when you are writing it in standard form. Next, you've got that negative 12y, and you drop it under. And you'll notice we still do not have anything under that 5y squared. That's okay. You can have that blank spot. If it helps you, you can actually go ahead and put in a 0 right over here and a 0 here if that helps you. You don't have to do it if it confuses you. Working from right to left, negative 10 minus 7, negative 17. Keeping your variable and your exponent the same, we're going to get negative 4y when we do 8 minus 12. Remember I told you you could put a 0 there? If you do 5 plus 0, you just get 5. Nothing changes. Keep your variable and your exponent the same. And same thing with the y cubed, you're just going to drop it down. You'll notice I did drop the positive sign right before it because it's the beginning of our math sentence. Check your answer, make sure it's in standard form, just in case if you kind of messed up a little bit at the beginning, you can always double check at the end and rearrange it in standard form. If you did all this lined up, and that's it. You're going to box your final answer. That's all there is to subtracting. If you know adding, cannot stress this enough, you are good with subtracting. We're going to be using adding and subtracting when we are multiplying, but we're also going to be using it when we're distributing, which is multiplying as well, but just taking it one step at a time. Thanks for watching, guys.